Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 Pan-Asian destroyer Yueyang. Now the Yueyang uh, is sadly often maligned, at least in my opinion, by players who compare it to the gearing, which, to a certain extent is justified. But it has, of course, deep water torpedoes being part of the Pan-Asian line. And that means that it's a little bit more challenging to get it to, a little bit more challenging to compete for caps or for control of certain areas of the map when playing against other destroyers, because your torpedoes can't hit those other destroyers, but their torpedoes can certainly hit you. A little bit of information about the ship, just some, while this engagement begins, a little bit about the ship. It's got 127s, the guns, 3 turrets, 2 barrels each, 6 total guns. At the time of this video, the buffs to the guns had not happened that were rolled out in 10.10. This was just before that, this game. But the reload time a little slower than gearing. The torpedoes, and roughly 11.9 range on the guns. Max dispersion 104, so they're accurate, but they're kind of floaty, just like the U.S. destroyer shells. Maximum damage on the HE shells is 1800 with a 5% fire chance, and the max damage on the AP shells is 2100, but there's not a whole lot of pen there, so you have to be really close for the AP to do much of anything. It's got 2 quintuple torpedo racks, so you get a total of 10 torpedoes in 2 groups of 5. The reload time, as of the time of this video, is 129 seconds. I think that's been shortened up a little bit in the most recent update, but I don't have that information right here in front of me. Max damage on each torpedo, 17,900. They run at 69 knots, and they're difficult to spot. So, if you're firing at larger targets, unless they are actively maneuvering, which some of the guys on this particular red team that I faced here were very good at kind of judging where torpedoes might be coming through lanes. If you catch someone with them, by the time they see them, it's very often too late. AA, well, it doesn't have much in the way of AA, but not too many ships do. Max speed, 36.5 knots. You can stick a speed flag on it and get it a little bit better than that. Turning circle radius, 620 meters. Rudder shift time, 3.1 seconds. Base surface detectability of 7.42 kilometers. And base air detectability range of 3.36. Now, obviously, you can make that a little bit better. You can see I've got it down to 5.8 sea detectability, which is decent. Now, so those are the kind of the particulars of the ship. You see the Yamato just sailed right through all the torpedoes, and now he knows I'm here. He saw the torpedoes. He knows that. Well, he knows that something is here. And I imagine on his mini-map, it's showing that the vampire has been spotted on the other side. So by simple process of elimination, he knows, oh, now you got the Yueyang over here. So he knows he has to play very cautiously, and he does. And he does a pretty darn good job of it. You can see he's just posting up behind the island. He has some idea of where I'm at. I'm radio located. I don't know if that's the Napoli at this point in the game. I don't know whether it's Napoli or Yamato that has that skill. I'm guessing. It's probably neither of those. It's probably a destroyer that's in here close. So I have to play a little conservatively myself. I don't want to get spotted. If I do, the guns on that Napoli, they hit really hard. So I'm willing to get a little bit closer, but I'm going to try and put an island between myself and the Napoli. I do have smoke ready. And one of the beauties of this line of ship is that the smokes, while they don't last long, they reload pretty quickly, and you have a fair number of them. Okay, so there's the Holland. I'm detected. Now, Holland has a big advantage here in the fact that it has a heel. There are only 2 battleships over here. I mean, there's a Venezia who's a little farther away. So it's really tough for the battleships to get any guns on this guy. So I'm just trying to do what I can. You can see he's turning under my shells. I just aimed poorly there. But I do land a total of 21 shells on him for 11,000 damage. Of course, he's got a heal. I don't. So I have to play every engagement against a Holland unless I have a lot of support, particularly from cruisers. Really cautiously. Because if it's an even trade of damage, the Holland is winning because he can heal some of it back and I can't. If you watch my videos on a fairly regular basis, you've probably heard me say when you're playing a destroyer, particularly when you're playing a torpedo-reliant destroyer, often a big part of success in the game, whether your team wins or not, is going to be determined by how long you manage to keep your ship afloat. So I'm trying to do that. I managed to turn the Holland around, and I'm positioning to be able to move south should he turn around and run straight toward my smoke, which is possible. He's got Napoli there who could help him. He's got Yamato there. And Napoli gets blepped by our Kurfürst. Now, if you take a look at the larger picture, we've got a decent push on the other side of the map, but it's creating some broadside opportunities for their GK that's now at, well, Echo 7, Echo 6. So, I'm looking at the map and I'm saying, we're liable to lose some things. Their Republik is pushing right into 2 destroyers, 2 battleships, and then a cruiser on its flank. I don't expect that ship to last long. And as I was kind of expecting, the Holland did, in fact, come back down this way. It took a little longer than I thought, but he's there. I've got smoke up. I'm going to go ahead and get the smoke going. I'm not going to fire and give my position away. And he blind fires and takes out my steering. Now I have the commander skill that'll allow me to continue to turn and such anyway, but one more reason to play cautiously. Now you can see I've got both of the battleships right behind me, and I'm expecting his torpedoes anytime. Okay, so we've got a different set of torpedoes coming. That tells me there's another destroyer here. Now, I know the Yueyang was last seen up there at Bravo 3. So that means I've got a Shimakaze and the Holland here. And so I've got to do what I can to protect my battleships. I'm hoping that these 2 destroyers won't spread apart. If, for example, the Shima heads toward their GK, they can get, basically they're going to be firing torpedoes at 90-degree angles, and our battleships won't have anywhere to go. So I've spotted these torpedoes, which will allow the battleships that are a little bit south and west of me to be able to maneuver to avoid them. You can see they're both angled very well. So I'm keeping an eye on the Yamato, but I'm expecting to engage the destroyer. You can see our Republik is, I don't know why he feels like he has to point it out. I've been here for a while. Maybe he's just been what he's doing. But so I have to try and finish off this Holland. And I'm fully committed here. I've got 2 destroyers, but we have to kill the Holland, and then I can work on the Shima, who is in smoke. So, okay, Holland is gone. I'm a little bit more till I've got smoke myself, so I just have to fall back, angle, try and avoid taking damage. Now, this is a really tough situation. I've got torpedoes back up right now, but both of these red battleships know right where I'm at. We lose our Republik. We just lost the Hindi. Both teams now down to 6 ships, and I'm able to go dark. Had their Shimakaze pushed out of his smoke and kept me spotted, and he could have done that and stayed dark himself. This might have ended really badly for me, but he didn't. He did not keep me spotted. Well, he's got me spotted now. But both those battleships had probably switched their guns to the Kurfürst. He's got an HP advantage. And since he's fired, my GK is going to keep him spotted for me. I'll just smoke up. He can't smoke. He's already smoked. So it's on cooldown. And he's trying to juke with his speed, and he does go dark by not shooting for a little bit. And that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and push on out here. I might take damage from Yamato, but no, Yamato's got his guns pointed probably at the GK. You can see there's another set of torpedoes from the Shima. The Shima's now dead. So we've still got 6 ships. They're down to 4, and this game has just taken on an entirely different complexion. Now, I find Yueyang very, very fun to play. I always have, and I've had good success with this ship. It sits really low in the water. It's not easy to hit with guns. And, you know, recently it had some very small buffs, which makes it just that much better. I know a lot of people complained about it because when it was rolled out, it really was kind of a gearing with deep water torpedoes, and it did really well. People that knew how to play destroyers did exceptionally well with it. So they nerfed it, of course. But since then, I guess its popularity and rate of success has dropped off significantly enough that they felt like they had to buff it again. And yay me, because I loved playing it, even the way that it was in its nerfed condition. So now it's just that's just awesome. I'm a little concerned about our Kremlin pushing into the middle, just kind of keeping an eye on the map. If I remember correctly, I suggested to him that he get the heck out of there. And I'm going to try and get torpedoes on the Yamato. We lose our vampire, who... why anyone in a destroyer would sit and wait for the Puerto Rico's radar is beyond me. But, you know, be that as it may. We're down to 5 ships. Bad guys only have 4. We still got an advantage. Our Kremlin, well, whether I said anything or not, he did slow down. He's not continuing to push, at least for the time being. But that may change. Maybe I said something a little bit later. Either way, my goal is to finish off the Yamato. But he knows I'm here. He knows I'm hunting him. He's taking shots from multiple ships. And I think I said Hindi earlier when I should have said Henri. Either way, Henri, almost due south of me. He's putting guns on Yamato. GK's been putting guns on Yamato. Wooster, I think, may have even been putting some guns on Yamato. Maybe that's booster shells there. Everybody trying to burn Yamato down. And I am going to get just close enough that even if he just continues to run north, my torpedoes might catch him. And I can spread them out a little bit so that if he turns, I'll catch him, or if he keeps running straight, I'll catch him. Just take a look at which way that Yamato is going. I'm going to spot this Yamato that's closer here in just a second. Bad guys lose their Wooster, and I think I'll be able to catch that Yamato there. So, 2 sets of torpedoes out on 2 different Yamatos. I'm not going to fire. Yeah, I am. I'm going to smoke up and fire. He doesn't really have any choice. If I get him to change direction, it slows him down, and my torpedoes have an even better chance of hitting him. The fact that I'm shooting at him, I'm hoping, will make naval malpractice feel a little bit more comfortable where he's at. And I'm just hoping to catch 1 torpedo. Now, that Yamato up there, he's reversing. He knows what's coming. Maybe that last torpedo on the edge there will catch him. Nope, looks like I failed. Ah, hey, look at that. I did catch him. Must have just caught him. And he had repaired prior to that, probably a fire from Wooster or Henri or both. So this is going to flood for a while. I'm kicking myself a little for not having turned off my AA, but I do that now. That Yamato is in big trouble. Now I'm looking at these two cruisers, and they're both sailing broadside to two Yamatos. Henri's angled up a little bit. Wooster is beginning to angle up a little bit, but Yamato only needs one good volley to take out either of those cruisers. They've got a Puerto Rico on the other side. So as I mentioned earlier, Yamato's, particularly Big Coolie 72 there, he did a great job avoiding my torpedoes. I mean, I did catch him there with one, but my hat's off to him. So we've got a little bit of a points lead, not a big one, about 80 points. We do have a ship advantage. I can't stay here. I have to continue to move away from Puerto Rico. If naval malpractice continues on its current course, I know he's going to be sunk, so I throw some torpedoes at Puerto Rico. And I'm just trying to stay outside of radar range. Yep, he's gone. Now our lead is about 190 points, 3.5 minutes roughly left in the game. And the skill still could go either way. You know, our GK is really banged up. Henri is really banged up. Puerto Rico, he senses a disturbance in the force. Yeah, it doesn't get much closer than that. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, if I was on their team, not only do we have to sink things, but we probably need to get inside the cap circle to stop their points if we're going to have any chance. Under 3 minutes to go. Puerto Rico can use islands a little bit, and that's probably what he's doing now, to angle against the GK. If the GK fires on him, he knows he's got roughly 30 seconds until there'll be another volley from GK, so he can just angle to the cruisers, get in the cap, and stop our points. And then if they're able to sink something, and my presumption is that that Yamato is coming back this way, that he's used his heel, he's got a little bit of HP, and that he's going to come back and try and blap the cruiser. So I'm not going to take any chances. I'm not going to get close to Puerto Rico and let the radar catch me and let him blap me like he did the Vampire. Looks like he intends to stay at the very north end of the cap. So that first set of torpedoes, completely wasted. Let's see if I can get some idea of which direction he plans to go before I throw these in the water. Puerto Rico's in big trouble here, so I may just hang on to these. We'll see. Now, he's headed south, so I'm going to throw him out there. He's going to show me some side. I think I'm going to try and catch him. I still don't want to get into his radar range. Now he's turning this way. Well, that's all right, because now he's showing broadside to both of our cruisers. And Puerto Rico's tanky, but yeah, you can see that Yamato, he's got a third of his HP back now. And just over a minute left in the game. It seems very unlikely that they're going to win this, but the Yamato's guns are going to be back in it. We're under a minute now. And I don't see any way for them to win unless they sink a ship or more. RGK, he's just run. That was smart. Don't take any chances. I think we could lose one of the cruisers without losing the game. Down to 30 seconds now. My torpedoes probably won't even reach where he's at before this is over. But I'll throw him out there. Anyhow, um, I think Yueyang is really fun. It's even a little bit more dangerous now than it was this time a week or two ago. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for spending a little time here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.